It would create a lot of tension. It would be a disaster, honestly. Something that I did not expect to happen at all is that people were stealing my designs. If it's not for you, you will not like it. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Today is hopefully going to be a really informative video. I have been running my e-commerce website for close to 5 years now. I run a Christian apparel company. And I know that so many people are wanting to start their own business ever since, especially 2020. People really want to be in charge of their own life and make their own hours and be creative, and starting your own business is a great way to do that while still providing for your family. And because I've been doing this for many years now, and I've experienced really crappy years and I've experienced really successful years, I feel like I've learned some things, and I really just want to share this with you, so hopefully it will kind of give you some insight. I will say that this is not a feel-good type of video. This is almost one of those videos that's really going to make you think and almost scare you and make you question if I really want to do this, because what you see on social media is the best part of running your business. You already know that. You already know the best part of running your own business, but what are people not telling you? That's what this video is going to be. So I hope that it helps you. I am all in favor of starting your own business. I love entrepreneurship. I think that if that is for you, you should definitely do it. But hopefully this will kind of give you some behind the scenes and maybe answer some questions that you have. Okay, so the first thing that you might want to consider is that although yes, you can make your own hours and choose when you want to work, you will most likely work more than if you had a traditional 9-to-5, and you will work random hours. The great thing is that if you want to go shopping in the middle of the day or go out to eat with a friend in the middle of the day, you can do that, but you might be working at 8 p.m., 9 p.m. at night. But the good thing is that you love what you do, and so it doesn't really feel like work, but it all kind of lands on your shoulders to get it done. And so just keep that in mind, is that you very well, especially if your business really takes off and if you don't have anybody hired yet, that all lands on you. So you will probably end up working more than if you were in a traditional job setting. One thing to consider is if you are married or in a relationship, your spouse has to be on board with you. Running your own business, launching into that is really crazy. Not everyone will agree with you, and not everyone will support your decision to do it. You have to put in money before you ever make money. And if your spouse is not on board with you, if they're not supporting your dream that you have, if they don't believe in you, it's going to be a big stress. Thankfully, my husband was so supportive of me doing this. We were dating when I started, but even then he was like, I'm all in, like whatever you feel you need to do, like I believe that this is a good idea. And that was huge. And since then we've been, engaged, married, and it's a huge part of our life. And if he wasn't on board with that and I was just, trying to survive by myself with a grumpy husband that didn't agree with me, it would create a lot of tension. It would be a disaster, honestly. And even if they're not involved in actually accomplishing it, just that they agree with it, that they believe in you, and that they are pushing you to do it, if that's what you want to do. Something to really consider is that it takes time for your business to get established. And so you will probably be running your business alongside of your traditional job if you are counted on to make money in your family. And it takes time for that to get established. For me, it took nearly 3 years before I was able to quit my job. And you have to just stick through it, through the hard times, and believe that what you are doing is beneficial to people, that people are going to like it, that you are making a good product. And that is one thing I will say, is that just because you haven't made it yet, because you're not making a bunch of sales, it doesn't mean that your product is bad. And I think that that's a big lie. Maybe it is. Maybe, you need to consider that, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have a bad product. It just means people haven't found you yet. And a big thing, unfortunately, with social media is that people Like, I look at, this is gonna sound sad, but I look at some of my competitors and I don't know how they sell their product because I don't think it looks good. But because they have such a huge following, their stuff sells out. And that is part of it, is that if you have the reputation, if you have the numbers, if you have the followers, people will buy from you. If you are on social media and you only have 300 followers, it's going to be harder for people to trust you. And so sometimes it just takes time of building that online marketing platform, building those followers up so that they trust you, that you look reputable. And so it doesn't mean that your products are bad. It just means that, hey, we have to build a relationship first. I have to trust you first. I have to know that you're a real person behind there. And then also, if you think about it, how many times do you see something, and even if you do like it, you don't buy it. I don't know what the statistic is. I don't know if it's 1 in 10 people or 1 in 100 people, but not everybody buys, even if they like it. And so if you only have 5 eyeballs on you, probably none of them will buy. If you have 50 eyeballs on you, maybe 2 of them will buy. If you have 5,000 eyeballs on you, you get what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind, that a lot of it, even though you are creating products or sourcing products, that is only a small part of the business. An even bigger part, in my opinion, is getting the people to find you, is marketing, is getting yourself out there, is building a platform, probably online, most likely. This is more so of a tip, but it's a lesson that I had to learn. Make what you like. If you're like me and you're in a business where you are actually creating things to sell, or I guess it could be the same if you're maybe a boutique and you're sourcing items or something like that, find the things that you like. For the longest time in my business, I would look at some of the big name Christian apparel companies and I would try to copy not designs, but style. They were a little bit more streetwear, a little bit more rugged. And so I tried to emulate that style into my business, and it didn't do very well. When I started just designing what I liked and in the style that I personally had, that's when my business really started to flourish, and it was more fun because I wasn't trying to figure out what I was supposed to make. I just made what I liked, and it was more fun because I got to just be creative the way that I wanted to be creative, not try to fit into some image that was working for somebody else. The next one is, even if you make crazy sales one month, doesn't mean that you're gonna make crazy sales the next month. That is the business that you are in. You are in sales. There are really good months, there are really crappy months, and unfortunately you just have to ride it out. They have a little thing, you may have seen it on social media, it's called the J months. So January, June, and July tend to be really bad months in sales, at least in clothing, in my experience. January is not so bad for me personally, but the summer months are really hard. And my first year of really good sales, I had to learn the waves. You may have to consider, if you're the breadwinner, do I need to have a part-time job certain months out of the year to cover me when my business isn't doing as well? And that's not to say that you're not being successful. That's just the nature of the world, of the economy. People during the summertime, they're on vacation, they're outside, they're spending their money elsewhere, not online shopping. And so you'll have to learn what that looks like for your business. Maybe summer will be a really great time. Typically, October, November, December, those are phenomenal months because you have Black Friday, you have Christmas, you have all the Thanksgiving sales. And so you'll have to consider, maybe even on the really good months, I don't spend like I'm making that much money. You store it away, and then you live off of that on the crappier months. And that's just part of business. Just plan for that. You have to have really thick skin to run your own business in many ways. You have to believe in yourself when nobody else does. You have to put in the work even when you're not seeing the fruit of that work, which will be the case for sure. Unless you already have like a following, then you'll probably blow up and do amazing. But if you're starting from scratch, it's going to take a minute. And you have to just push through even when it doesn't make sense, even when you don't want to. Keep your eye on the goal. In addition to that, something that I did not expect to happen at all is that people were stealing my designs. And that was really, really hard because I was new, my business was small, and I had a design really blow up and become a bestseller, which was so exciting. And then I would see that people were copying it. They were stealing it, calling it their own. They were taking the design itself and selling it as a file for other people to put on apparel, and said that they bought the rights to it, you can sell it too. And it was really hard because not only do you just feel ripped off, but also people are stealing your business because they're buying the same shirt from somebody else and not you when it was rightfully yours. And that was something that I looked into, and there's unfortunately not a lot that you can do to protect yourself in that. The most I found to do is that you just ask them to take it down. Most likely they will. I have had one person say that he wouldn't, which is unfortunate, but you see that even happening with big brands. I mean, all Amazon is dupes, you know, of like Free People and Madewell and all these big expensive brands. Amazon is making dupes of it for cheaper, and that's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. So you really have to have thick skin and try to not let it bother you and just make something better. And building that reputation, and people will build trust with you when you are creating true designs that are yours, that you are not stealing. And just really try not to look at those people, because I truly believe, you know, I don't believe in karma, but I believe that, you know, the Lord is going to deal with those people one day. And if they're lying and stealing and cheating you, it's like, just, they're beneath you. You keep making your business and your brand better, and that will make you successful. Another thing to consider when you are starting and running your business is that if you have something that you make and you like, but you're like not really sure if a lot of other people will like it, just launch it anyways. I have been surprised by many designs where I'm like, I did not think that that was going to be the one that people like, and a ton of people like it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad I launched it, even though I didn't think that maybe it was the best. Like, I still liked it, but I didn't think universally people would like it. Just launch it. Go with your gut. If you like the product, somebody out there is also going to like it, and you never know what might be your next bestseller. And the last thing to consider is that it might not be for you. Running your own business, being an entrepreneur, is not for everyone. It is a really hard thing to do. It is a super fun and rewarding thing. I think it's the best thing ever, but it's also really hard. Everything falls on your shoulders. You don't have a boss to just guarantee you a paycheck every day. You can leave work at the office when you work a traditional job and come home and not have to think about it. You don't have that when you run your own business. You are thinking about it all the time. And when it's not doing very well, you might be a little stressed. When it's doing great, you're insanely busy. And it's a lot. It's the biggest blessing ever, and it's really fun, but it also takes a ton of work. So that's just something to consider, is that it's not for everyone, and that's okay. If you try it and you're like, I don't like this, you don't have to keep doing it. And it doesn't mean that you're not successful. I think it's a really common issue, and I've noticed this with myself, is that you see people online. Basically, if they have an Instagram platform, a lot of times they have their own business. You know, they're selling you something, whatever, and then they're successful at it. And like, that is the image of success in today's world. But if you want to go like work and go to college and get a degree, and like that's the route you want to go because you don't like running your own business, like that is okay. Nobody says that this is the image of success. If it's what you want to do and it's what you're passionate about, I think that God literally puts that in you. Like, if you're meant to be an entrepreneur, if you're meant to, you know, start something, be creative in your job and like work for yourself, and like, I think that that is for specific people. And if it's not for you, it doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you stink. It's just not for everybody. And you won't like it. If it's not for you, you will not like it. try and fail, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. I think more people need to try and fail and move on and just say that they did it and they learned a lesson. So anyways, I could babble forever. So I hope that that gave you some insight and things to consider if you are wanting to start your own online website. If you have any specific questions, I would love to answer them. I was just trying to brainstorm and think of things, but if I missed something, please let me know and I'd love to answer it to the best of my ability. And I will hopefully see you guys soon. I'm not really sure what all of this is going to turn into, but I'm excited and I'm just having fun with it. So I hope that y'all have a blessed day and let me know if you have any questions. Bye.